Thanks for coming
Good
on.
morning.
Tell us what, if you could, what we know. Let's start with Camden. What we know here this morning about that case. An arrest was made yesterday.
Well, luckily, someone who was an acquaintance of Mr. Davis didn't contact the police up in Oswego, who heard about what Mr. Davis was posting on Facebook in a messenger. Immediately did the right thing, notified police up there, who then found out he was looking at possibly doing something in Camden, who eventually notified the Camden police, who notified us, and working with the school district, we were able to locate him at a friend's house in the city of Oneida and determined that although it was not a credible threat, we did not believe he had any weapons or any means of getting a hold of any weapons. He was taken into custody, and charged with making a terroristic threat.
And tell me, that is a felony, right? By the way, a terroristic threat.
It is. It's a Class D felony.
Is there any reason for us to know why? Do we have any idea why he did this?
Well, I think after interviewing him, he basically came down and told us that he was having some personal issues, and for whatever reason, he determined that he was going to discuss and make a threat of an ongoing issue and shoot up a school. After interviewing him, it basically came down to him having some personal and emotional issues.
Got it. So would you say that we're dealing with, that would, I guess we would conclude that once again we're dealing with a mental health issue?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think, and sometimes going with that mental issue, reaching out in their way of expressing their emotional issues is to make a threat and unfortunately draw some attention to themselves. And of course, we take every threat seriously, and we have to thoroughly investigate.
Sure. Yeah. Tommy, do we know anything about Utica College? Do we know anything at this point about what happened at Jarvis Middle School in Mohawk?
At this point in time, we're still investigating. Again, we don't appear to have a credible threat, but still, we're still investigating.
Got it. All right, Trooper, we appreciate it. I'm going to ask
just
you.
a quick follow-up to that. There were so many schools around Utica College that went basically into a precautionary mode where they did a lockout. Is that something each district makes on its own? Is that something law enforcement advises them, hey, maybe it'd be best if we did this?
Yes, I think every school district, the superintendent is in charge of that district, and they're going to make the ultimate decision. But having a close relationship with all the school districts, so with other law enforcement agencies, and discussing the case with everyone, we're able to determine whether or not what's the best interest of the kids and the safety of those kids. And it depends on how much we know about at the time the school was opening. In the case of the Camden district, the superintendent made the right decision. We weren't sure where that individual was. We don't know if he would carry out a threat. So the safety is the most important. And
then it did seem that the Utica College was certainly taken extremely seriously, that threat yesterday. Would you say that it was a serious, I guess every threat has to be considered taken seriously, right?
Absolutely. In the majority of threats, most don't result in any incident, which is, a very good thing. But, the process in which we have to go through does take some time, and we got to make sure that we thoroughly investigate, and we have to take them serious.
Just a quick follow-up. So do police advise to go into lockdown mode and determine the credibility of a threat, or is that made by the district administration?
That's made by the district. The ultimate decision is made by the district themselves.
Got it. And then
we will certainly consult with them, though.
I would ask one final question about we're getting, and this is not just here, but it's across the country. We're getting these threats all over the place, and I do worry though that out there is someone who will be the next shooter, and someone who is going to go off the deep end, and you have to worry that something like this, the constant talk about this, the constant attention on this, is going to be that one thing that gives them the belief that they can pull off something like this. Do you worry about that, A, and B, Do you guys, are you at a heightened level of precaution at this point?
We are worried because, unfortunately, you have to be prepared for that one case, as you mentioned. And, we trained for this, we're prepared for this. And, but we've been preaching for years to tell people to see something, when they see something, say something. So we'd rather the students or parents, if they do see something, to say something, let us decide whether or not it's a credible threat.
Understood. All right, Trooper. Stuff we should not have to be dealing with. I can't imagine the resources, the money that has been spent in the last couple of days on these false claims. It's just unbelievable. Yeah. All right, Trooper, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Trooper Jack Keller.